With me on the Double Eagle podcast, also on SkyviewSports.net, I have University of Michigan men's golf coach Zach Barlow. Zach is in his sixth season as the head coach of the University of Michigan men's golf program. You're also a former player for Michigan in the Big Ten, and you've got your team going places. Why don't you tell us for just a moment or two, brag on the team?
Yeah, year six, like you were saying, and each year we've just gotten better, and that's basically kind of, we talk about it a lot with the team is just day by day. It's all about consistency, right? So,
Yeah.
each year you just try to build on what you've started the previous years, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and we gotta stay after it, and it kind of comes down to Hoff and I too with recruiting the right guys, the guys that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and so far we've been able to do that, and we've got another great group this year, really young this year. It's going to be definitely a different feel for Coach Hoffman and I, and we're all freshmen and sophomores, so we got 10 guys on the team, and looking forward to the year. We've been on a practice trip already. We had a qualifying round yesterday at Travis Point, so we hit the ground running. We don't have a whole lot of time. So we start school a little late here at Michigan, so the freshmen don't have a whole lot of time to kind of get their bearings. We get we throw them right to the fire right away. But it's been a fun start. I'm really excited about this team and where we're headed this year, and again, just looking forward to build on previous year's successes.
Yeah, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, but we'll look at it in a positive way, Coach Barlow. You have all your guys. Everybody else has graduated, including Hunter Thomson, who we'll talk about in just a little bit. These are all your guys, and Bo talked decades ago about a Michigan man. What does it mean for a Michigan man to play for the University of Michigan men's golf team?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We recruit on that, a Michigan man, and I to be honest with you, I think it embodies a lot of different things.
Hmm. And so,
I think. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. We broke up for a sec. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the main one being consistency, and are you bringing it every day? And whatever your best is that day, you got to bring it to practice. You got to walk in with an open mind, to learn, to get better, to compete. I think those three things: learning, having an open mind, and competing. Competing is a huge thing in our program. When they walk in the door every day for practice, I don't want them knowing what exactly we're going to do. I just want them knowing that we're going to compete at whatever it is. And, we only get 20 hours a week with them. But those 20 hours, we spend a lot of time, 1v1. Sometimes, this year we're lucky. We've got 10 guys on the team. We can 5v5. Because there's really, especially in golf, it's tough to simulate on a range, the actual golf course. So we spend a lot of time at our Unreal short game facility and just try to simulate it as much as we can, and compete against each other, and leave everything out there, and kind of just get in that mindset of competition. And I think that's where this year with being so young, trying to develop that early on. Like I said, we've already had 4 rounds of qualifying, and it's very close. It'll be very competitive throughout the whole year. I think you'll see a lot of different lineups from us this year, because we got a lot of players that can come in and play right away. I think it may even change tournament to tournament, to be honest with you, and that's exciting for Coach Hoff and I, and it makes everybody better. To be honest with you, it's maybe something that we haven't been as successful with in previous years, but I was asked the other day who's my best player, and I'm like, yeah, I could give you a couple different names, to be honest with you. I think Dean obviously has probably solidified himself as maybe, after his summer this year, and what he did in breaking the records, as a freshman. He's obviously got a bright future ahead of him, and RJ as well. But I don't know. The freshmen are really good. Then everybody else, Nicholas Simon had a big summer.
Hmm.
That was huge for us, and huge for him. coming back this fall. So we're excited. I can't sit here and say I know everything right now, but it's going to be fun kind of coaching these guys and finding out exactly who is.
Yeah, well, you kind of hit it pretty hard there. Not only do your players not know what they're going to do in practice that day, which means keeping it real, keeping it fresh, but you're not going to know what you expect from the golfers because they're all freshmen and sophomores and they're still learning and they're working off. I'm a retired educator. They still have their individualized development plan from the off season. So you're going to see how well they're taken to it and how an idea from today connected to what you told them back in April or May.
100%. You're spot on there. I mean, Hoff and I keep telling each other, they don't know what they don't know, and from we're big on fundamentals, and I'll give Nicholas Simon a big time credit for this. He came in last fall a little behind, and we told him, dude, it was just like, hey man, you're the goal is for you to be ready to roll next fall, and when you hear that as a young adult, move away from home, and the coach is saying, hey, you're going to be ready next fall. But he took it and ran with it, and he seems to be ready to go. He obviously, this summer was big for him and to kind of get some confidence under his belt, but he had to make a couple changes, and I think he kind of got beat up right away, but he's the perfect example of what you're talking about, which just kind of learning where you fit in on the whole deal, and how your game fits on on the big stage, on these kind of big boy courses. And it's no more junior golf anymore, no more AJGA. We're playing 7,300-yard courses where you got to golf your ball around to shoot a good score. So it's been fun. It's already this year just a lot of learning. And you see some things too. And the last 2 years, I guess we've been pretty veteran with Hunter and Yuki and Jack and Ben. And you definitely see some freshman, sophomore mistakes out there a little bit more, but it's teachable moments, and all these guys are very coachable. They've come in and they've kind of embraced what we're all about this first week here, and they want to see how good they can get at golf, and that's what I say. Even in our recruiting process, it's like, if you want to see how good you can be at golf, Michigan's a great spot for you. And they all have that itch to really see what they can do with golf. And I'm excited about these guys the next 4 or 5 years. They're going to be really fun.
Well, that sounds awesome. And on the other side of this 30, we're going to talk about your schedule this year, as it looks like you're dodging everybody. I'm just kidding. We're going to do that on the other side of this 30.
Toyota has 3 NASCAR Cup teams, 2311 owned by these two, but this guy actually races for his team. And they both share the track with the team owned by this guy. 3 teams, 4 legends, all going after 1 cup. Now you're up to speed. You in?
With us on the Double Eagle Golf Podcast, care of SkyviewSports.net, we have University of Michigan men's golf coach Zach Barlow. Barlow is in his 6th season with the University of Michigan. He's already been coaching All-Americans. He has team and individual victory players in these tournaments. We're going to talk about your schedule. And I know, Coach, that you get everybody ready for every tournament. And I know you're the defending champion of a couple tournaments. And are there any majors that you want to win, not just the regular tournament, but the extra tournament? Of course, I ask you a rhetorical question. My time to be quiet. Go ahead, Zach. You start off. You start off
Obviously,
at the Island Resort.
we do. Yeah, we start out. We leave Thursday here for a Labor Day event up at Sage Run at Island Resort, a place that we really love, and the hospitality up there is next level. And obviously, being in Michigan is obviously a big thing for us too, being able to play here in our home state. But beyond recruiting being the lifeblood of a program, for Hoff and I, scheduling, if recruiting's 1A, scheduling's 1B for coaches. Just kind of, you almost try to predict the future with your team and kind of where you're at. So we got a little bit of a different schedule this year. We still kept our kind of core events that we're in every year. And obviously I think winning is learned, especially at this level. I think very, very few times do you just show up and win. And, to be quite honest with you, having a core group of events that you play in every year, you kind of do develop a home course advantage. So, to revamp this schedule every single year and go play a course for the first time where another team has played it 8, 10 years in a row, it's kind of tough. So, yeah, we started Island Resort. We go back to Canada after that. We play again in Michigan over at Point O Woods, a brand new event that we're really looking forward to over in Benton Harbor.
Mhm.
A bunch of really top teams over there, and I think
Now,
we finished
Benton
the
Harbor,
fall.
where are you playing? Harbor Shores?
No, we're playing Point O Woods.
Oh, Point Oh Woods. That all right? That was
Yeah,
that
Point
was
O
the
Woods.
point.
Yeah, yeah. So they used to host the Western Amateur. They've hosted some big time events, and I've heard great things about the course. So that'll be cool to play really close to home. Even though Stage obviously is in Michigan, it's up in northern Michigan, but Benton Harbor is 2 hours down the road here. So hopefully we get a good turnout with some Michigan fans out there and give us a little home course advantage. But yeah, and then we finished the fall. It's another brand new event down in Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky's hosting at Lexington Country Club, which is supposed to be spectacular. Another amazing field. Gators done a great job down there with that tournament and that field and really that team. And then the last tournament of the fall is at Moraine. That state down south. Um, so we finished down there. Moraine hosted the Western Am last year, actually. Really tough venue. We'll see some big time teams down there as well. I know Illinois is there. Um, Ohio State's there. There's some there. We've got a really good, intriguing yet challenging fall ahead of us to kind of see where we're at with this team here. But judging by qualifying, like I said, I'm in a way I'm pleasantly surprised. You never know kind of what to expect with the freshmen coming in. I think they've all done a great job adjusting so quick, and I think we're going to surprise some people this year.
And we won't have to talk about every tournament, but your team is the defending champion of one or two events, I believe, in the spring. Do you want to kind of talk about those for a moment?
Um, Yeah, to be honest, off the top of my head, I haven't given a whole lot of thought to the spring, but I like playing. When you go and win a tournament, the whole idea, it's tough to defend, right? You kind of you show up and you have a target on your back. Oh, this team won it last year, like they're going to be up there again. Kind of Michigan's the team to beat. So I always like following up wins with returning to that venue,
Sure.
because I think it, from a coaching standpoint, it teaches them something that it's really tough to do is to go defend your title, and so that's kind of the thinking behind that. I'll always back up at least one year. If we win, I'll back it up a second year with going back down there and seeing if we can do it again. So we've been fortunate enough to, I think we've done it. We did it two in a row down in Ohio, which was nice, but it was very close. Great coaching moments down there because it was, we were the team to beat, and it got to be very close at the end, and we prevailed, but definitely wasn't as easy as year one. So.
Well, there you have it. And a great teaching motivation point too is to say, hey, no matter how your players play, but hey, we're the defending champion in Ohio this year, and we got to live up to that. And there's a couple things we need to work on, and if we do them, we are definitely going to be next level when we get there. But we got to do it. So I mean, you know how to motivate your players. That's how you got the job. But I would think that tactic might work. But
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they agree with you.
all right, there you go. Well, on the other side of the sturdy, we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about former U of M player and All-American and now on the PGA Tour University, Hunter Thomson. We're going to do that in just a
Toyota
minute.
has 3 NASCAR Cup teams, 2311 owned by these two, but this guy actually races for his team. And they both share the track with a team owned by this guy. 3 teams, 4 legends, all going after one cup. Now you're up to speed. You in?
Coach Barlow, it's always awesome coaching talent, and Hunter Thomson was certainly a great player in your program, and I think was one of the instruments in nursing the young Cubs up there that were freshmen last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter came in a very highly touted a pretty spectacular junior record. He was kind of he was one of the first ones to kind of believe in Hoffenheim, and he wanted to be coached up. He knew there were some things that he had to get better at it if he wanted to play at the next level, and he wanted to be challenged. And so I commend him for that for sure. He was great for this program. He leaves here the best player ever in Michigan golf history. Stroke average wise, I think he had the most wins. I mean, he's done so many different things I can't even remember them all, which is I guess a good thing to a point. But I got some young guys that are going to chase him down as well. But he's done great. The young guys learned a lot from him. I mean, Dean and RJ especially still talk about, and even Nicholas and Johnny, the things that they just kind of you observe a guy like Hunter. Everybody's a little different in how they prepare, but like if you can watch how he prepares for every tournament, it's like it was the NCAA championship. And, he excelled in out preparing everybody, and he was just ready for whatever the course threw at him. And, nothing really surprised him. He stayed in his own little world. He knew his game. He stuck to his game. He's still kind of doing that. He's figured it out at every level. And I have no doubt that he'll figure it out here at the professional level as well. And obviously, like you mentioned, he was the first Michigan guy to be a PGA Tour U grad and the first Canadian ever to be a PGA Tour U grad. And he's enjoyed some success on the PGA Tour Americas. Obviously it's a little different. No school, you're kind of traveling alone, and it gets lonely out there a little bit. But I expect the same at that level. I think he'll figure it out, and he's a guy that likes to stay in his routines and really keep things simple. And it's a different type of golf, really, to a point where it's your job now. So once he kind of pencils in and gets these routines down pat for each week, I think you'll see him win in no time. But he's been he's a heck of a guy. He's a heck of a human. He did really well. And, I'll just, not to take anything away from Hunter, but Yuki Liu as well, coming from this program, he had a pretty solid senior year. He's won like 3 or 4 mini tour events already early on. So he's another name for your listeners to watch out on, a Michigan man to root for. Yuki Liu, he's proven that he can play at the next level.
So I would say that it must be very helpful when you have Yuki Liu, you have Hunter Thomson. Those guys, I'm sure, are they closers? Do they make a phone call if you need one, or, get advice on what they can expect to play at Michigan or any of that?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I bounce things, a lot of them off those guys. Especially, Yuki knows the kind of the China golf scene better than I do. And Hunter obviously has played all the top junior events, so he kind of knows, he got to know those type of players. But he has a lot of acquaintances throughout golf, and kind of knows the ins and outs and how it works. But yeah, if I need those guys 100%, I mean, they're all in. They'll find out whatever they can find out, and help me with the recruiting decision. But yeah, I don't do that a whole lot. I kind of want them focusing on their own game, but
Sure.
they're definitely Michigan men at heart, and they'll do whatever for this program to help it succeed in the future and keep getting better.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for cluing me in. I figured it was a rhetorical question that I asked you. That, yeah, of course they do. Most programs have that. Most coaches tell players that you're not just in it for 4 years, you're in it for potentially 40. And
Yeah, that's exactly right. We say the same thing. This is a lifelong deal. I mean, we want you coming back when you're struggling, come back a little bit. You're playing well, come back and play with the guys, and kind of let them know all the experiences that you're going through, because it'll only help our team get better.
everyone, Coach Zach Barlow, 6-year coach at the University of Michigan, the University of Michigan's golf program. His team is going places. Very young team this year, but we expect that they're going to do very, very well with Coach Barlow and Coach Hoffman and the rest of the Michigan coaches coaching them up a bit. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Well, I hope to have this commitment from you that we talk to you maybe once during the fall and once during the winter, even if it's before the season gets started. We want to find out anytime anything's going on in Michigan golf. You want to brag on these guys a little bit, give them their props. We're certainly all into that because the University of Michigan is definitely one of the top golf programs in the entire country. And thank you, Coach Barlow.
You got it. I'll bring a player with me next time.
It's all great. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.